I think one of the things that I told the team on Sunday was, there are so many times where we will win a game, and I don't feel great about it because some part of our team didn't do as well as what ideally we would have liked, whether that was the defense or the offense or special teams or what have you. I think last week, that was as complete a game across the board as I think we've ever played. I think we did a great job. The offense was able to move the ball, not turn it over. It's not uncommon for us to throw the ball 35, 40 times. I think we only threw it 13 or 14 times. I like the poise that Tyler showed, and I think the team did a great job around him. We had a great running game. Our line did a great job. We made some good catches. But again, we protected the ball and moved it, and that part was critical. There wasn't any question. I think the defense really stepped up. I think our defense was physical. They hustled. They got to the ball. And we had 4 turnovers as well as a touchdown. I got to feel pretty good about that performance from the defense. And then special teams, which really were very good last year, very good all so far this year, they certainly were outstanding. We block a field goal. We score a touchdown off of that. We get a punt. We score a touchdown off of that. Our kickoff returns started to show a little bit of juice, whereas I don't think we had been showing that up until now. Our field goal team was consistent in terms of what they had going on. Clearly, field goal block was very, very effective. And I thought we did a really good job punting the ball. They had a good return guy, but it didn't do anything against us. So I think across the board, our offense, our defense, our special teams really kind of came together, and I couldn't have been more pleased with that. Now, with that under our belt, we look forward to Charleston Southern. I think what we need to be aware of is that, over the span of the last 3 years, they have beaten us twice. And each time they have beaten us in the last 3 years, we have been undefeated and ranked number 1 in the nation. They took that away from us. When they did it 3 years ago, it cost us a number 1 seed. The number 1 seed, or cost us it affected our seed in the playoff. That's a big deal. When they beat us last year, the impact that had, also, at the time, the undefeated season winds up going away, our number 1 ranking winds up going away, and we don't wind up winning the conference championship, which we had done 3 years in a row. They are Jamie Chadwell, their head coach, Chad Staggs, the defensive coordinator. They're both good coaches. The team is well coached. They're well prepared, and they're physical. Now, they're not as talented as Jacksonville State is, but they are every bit, if not more, physical. And for us, for them, this is a very big game and a very real rivalry. They're 2 hours down the road. They're going to come up here. They're going to go after it. I have no doubt they're going to give us everything that they've got. We've got to be well prepared to be able to handle that. Mike already alluded to the fact that they've got not a good and outstanding 2 running backs, by the way. So this kid Hammond returns punts, he returns kicks. He does not go down with one guy. That doesn't happen. He continues to drive. He twists. You got to gang tackle the guy. The other kid, Holloway, is averaging 14 yards a carry. That's not bad. Now, those are their 2 starters. They will tend to give the ball a little bit more to Hammond inside. They're effective on their inside running game. They'll pitch the ball to Holloway on the outside. They do. On defense, they will disguise what they're doing. They will come. I have no doubt they'll be aggressive coming after us. They'll try to disguise that. They'll come. They won't come. They'll drop into coverage. They'll play man. They'll mix that up. And they've always been sound in terms of special teams. I also anticipate that they would be more aggressive in taking a risk against us. 2 years ago, there was a reverse on the kickoff. They've done a speed option on the kickoff against us. 3 years ago, 3rd and 3, critical situation, 4th quarter. We stop them there. We got a great chance of pulling out the game. They come with a reverse. We don't stop them there. So we know this is going to be a very real game. We know it's going to be a very physical game, and we're going to have to step up to play this one, frankly, similarly to the way we played last week.
Sorry. I talked to Jamie yesterday. He said that you guys are in talks to maybe continue this rivalry.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts? Do you want to continue playing them, and what are your thoughts on?
No, I would.
Charleston?
We have at the FBS level, we will play 12 games every year. We're going to play 8 league games. We're going to play 4 non-league games. Of the 4 non-league games, we can play an FCS team, and that counts in our record and our overall standings. So I think for us to play an FCS team that's a more local team, that's kind of an older rivalry for us, I think that would be a good thing. I mean, again, it's 2 hours down the road, and they're doing a great job with the program. So I can see us continuing, at least trying to fit them in the schedule going forward.
Coach, my apologies. This is Andrew Miller from the Postal Courier.
Hi, Andrew.
Hey, how are you?
See, that's my point. It's a big enough game to send enough the media up here.
In any way, because you're not in the same conference, does that take anything away from the rivalry
No.
or this game?
Nope. Again, our guys know that 2016 is 2016 for us. So our mission is always to put on a team on the field that all the coaches are going to be proud of. That means you give 100%. Doesn't matter who you're playing that play 100%. We also have a philosophy, stand on your own 2 feet, take responsibility for yourself. And a man to us is not some macho tough guy. It's somebody that really does that, takes responsibility and never quits, gives it 100%. So we also have a lot of guys in the program that have been here from the beginning with me. They deserve a 2016 worth remembering. 2016, I think also for our guys, we got a handful of guys that potentially could play at the next level. So there's a lot of things going. And by the way, I can't imagine anything better for us transitioning to 2017 than a strong 2016. So, no. And welcome. Did you get lost on the way? You can find the place?
No, I think it did, yeah. Thank you.
You know, just we were talking about the special teams already. You know, just where do you think that you guys stack against, some other teams in the country?
Special teams?
Yeah.
I think our special teams are as good as anybody's in the country. And they're better than the majority of the FBS schools.
Can you talk a
We
little
take it seriously, we work at it, we spend time on it, and we structure ourselves differently internally with unit coordinators, with somebody in charge of each of the units, as opposed to one overall special team coordinator. When you have one overall special team coordinator, usually, very often, he's coaching another position and doesn't get enough time to really do his job with all special teams. But we ask each coach to focus on one, and he could do a great job with that particular unit. And his assistants, now, so let's say Nick Jones is the unit coordinator for our punt. Well, we've got 5 other unit coordinators. They are his assistants for punt. So you've got a real system there focused on special teams. We never spend less than 30 minutes in special teams in practice. We never spend less than 30 minutes or so in special teams meetings. And the staff gets plenty of time to work on special teams.
Devin Brown's impact on special teams throughout the course of his career here. It's been incredible.
I couldn't agree more with regard to his overall career. I thought he got off to a slow start this year. He was not as effective the first 3 games in terms of returning the ball. He was good the other day. It was good to see that from him. And that was a great way to kind of start off the game with, a 60-yard run or whatever it was. So couldn't be more pleased with that.
What does he do now as one of the more experienced guys on that special teams unit as far as coaching younger kids?
He's expected, and I think he's automatically, he's an All-American. So he's expected to take more of a leadership role. He's expected to produce. And I think, I have no doubt that the guys look up to him. When he catches the ball, everybody gets excited about that.
Can you talk a little about D'Angelo Henderson, the streak that he has and what he's meant to this program?
Well, D'Angelo's in the back here, so you could ask him that yourself if he comes up here. But Hop has done, he's done a great job for us. He's been here since I've been here. He's had a great career so far. He will continue to finish strong this year. I have no doubt of that. The record that he holds, is one of those records that those are going to be tough to break. I think the record was 10 years old or something. How old was the record, Mike? 10 years old. When he's at 30 games, and the objective is, the most important thing for us is to be able to win and score, et cetera. But, we would love him to be able to maintain that streak. He also graduated already a year ago, so he's also working on a second degree. So he's done a great job. He was also voted captain last year. The team as a junior. So I think in terms of what he's done on the field as well as off the field, his leadership and his contribution in terms of his production performance, has only been A+.
Is he one of those guys you think can play at the next level?
I do.
Connor King's not in the room, so talk about how he's done.
Hop's in the room. I don't care if he's in the room or not.
You said Hop's in the room.
Yeah, well, actually, I did talk about him a little bit in the beginning. Remember when I kicked
Yeah.
off talking about the offense, I said I couldn't have been more pleased with his maturity, with his poise for somebody that was really just starting his first game. I think he handles himself very, very well on the field. He does a good job of executing. He's not Alex Ross. We're not asking him to be Alex Ross. He doesn't have a strong arm, but he has an accurate arm. So we try to take advantage of that. So, again, offensively, I think we threw either 13 or 14 passes. I think we completed 10 of them. There was, I think, a couple of touchdowns there, and a big piece of that is what Tyler's doing. But what I like mostly is his poise. With having minimal experience, I think his poise is really, really special.
So you're ready to open up the playbook a little bit more for him?
We're going to go crazy this week. We're going to throw the ball 65 times. We're going to go crazy. In fact, we've got a play where he throws the ball to himself.
Can you talk a little about Chase? Kind of a unique story there.
Chase Tidwell?
Yes.
He began at Charleston Southern, so he transferred there. He's a baseball player and never played football before. So the growth that Chase has had, he's here to chat. You can chat with him in a minute as well, but the growth that he's had with no football experience and the way he's worked in the offseason to kind of get ready, I think Chase is also one of those guys that can play at the next level. And from where he was 3 years ago to where he is today, he's a man now. And he's also on a team leadership council, and he does a great job, I think, at behaving like a leader and influencing the other guys on the team. So he's made a contribution, not just offensively as a football player, but also in terms of his leadership.
Just while we're going off on some individual players, I'm doing something on Alex. I know he stepped up big last week. He's leading in tackles and interceptions. Just kind of talk about him a little bit. And I know he started off as a high school wide receiver, so what do you think of his progress?
When we watched him in high school, both he and Richie Sampson were outstanding offensive guys. And part of the reason why they both began a defense with us is because they thought, and we agreed, that they'd have a better shot of playing early. And both of them wound up starting as freshmen. Richie has stayed a safety. Alex began as a safety, and now we've moved him to linebacker the last couple of years. I think he's really come into his own as a linebacker. And as a linebacker, I think he could play also at the next level. I would not have said that a year ago, but that's what I see from him now. So he makes his plays. He understands what he's doing. He's moving well. He made some really big plays for us as well. And, proud of him.
When you go to prepare for Charleston Southern, and I know you guys have a history together, and you see the up and down schedule that they've had. I mean, they've played two monsters on that schedule. What game do you most look at to study for this game this coming week?
Well,
To look at tendencies.
I think, because we have a really good feel for North Dakota State, we certainly looked at North Dakota State. And I think I didn't look at the Florida State game at all. I didn't even bother with that one. And then you look at, I think you want to focus on the last one, and you want to focus. So I focus on North Dakota State and the Monmouth game. I know our coaches would have looked at all four games and probably treated all four games equally. If I were offensive or defensive coordinator, I probably would have just thrown the Florida State game out, but I certainly would have looked at the other three games. I don't look, remember, I look at offense and defense and special teams. So I'm looking at more parts of a single game than what the normal staff is. And I try to focus on having enough of an understanding that I might be able to make a contribution to our coaches or ask the right questions. But you kind of got to pay attention really the last 2-3 games, but not Florida State.
What do you feel going into a game like this, going against, especially for you guys, against Charleston Southern? Coach referenced it earlier. They've kind of snuck up and got you in the past here. So what's it like going through practice this week, preparing for this team?
Well, we know that they're a pretty good football team. They showed that throughout the season with the teams that they've been playing, the numbers that they've been putting up, just consistently over the past few years. So we know we got to attack it with a different level of focus and enthusiasm. We got a lot of revenge that we got to get back based off last year, and really, we know that we're playing a good team. They're top 10 in the country for a reason. They won the league last year, and so really they got bragging rights. So it's on us to really just go out there and play ball, execute, and do what we got to do.
What do you think of the run defense?
They're good. I don't think they're the 85 Bears, but they're good.
Both much does last week's performance, propel you for this week?
Last week is last week. Put that behind us and keep moving forward. Like I said, we know Charleston Southern's a good opponent. They got a good scheme, good coaching staff, good players, so we focus on that. We don't focus on last week.
Talk about playing these guys again, probably obviously for the last time for you, but being from Charleston, what that means to you.
I mean, it's a good feeling. From my backyard. They were one of the first schools to actually recruit me, so it's pretty cool to actually just to play them, I guess. But not thinking about anything with Charleston Southern, with them recruiting me or being my last time playing them. Just focus on getting a win. I'm getting on game 5, game 6, whatever game this is. Just focus on getting a win.
Does it matter that you're in different levels, different leagues? Does that take anything away from the rivalry at all? That's for both of y'all.
Not a chance.
No. Rivalry will always be a rivalry.
What's the family situation here? Do you guys have a lot of people coming up, or what's going on with that?
No, I'm scratching and clawing for tickets now. But I got a pretty decent group of people coming up. Mainly just like old friends, family, supporters. My girlfriend and her family as well. So.
I'm from Philly, so my family's not gonna be here this game. They were here last game. But my girlfriend's local, so her family's coming to this game.
As the touchdown streak continues, is there any pressure? Do you feel any internal pressure to go out and score again?
Nah, no pressure at all, man. Just really do whatever I can to help the team win. Like I said, I don't really think about it. It's the guys that bring it up all the time. So, and I tell you, like I said before, Mike said I can keep going over the streak, and I guess it's going to keep going. But, nah, it's no pressure at all. I don't think about it.
30 games of the touchdown. I mean, that's 2 seasons, 2.5 seasons. I mean, do you think about that? Like, that's amazing or anything like that?
I mean, it's cool, I guess, but Ross told me I wasn't going to really understand what I did until later on, and I guess that's kind of true. I just want to play ball. I'm not focused on anything, no numbers, no teams, no body saying that we ain't good. I'm not worried about it, man. We just want to play ball.
Off the interview here, but you graduated. You set records. Why come back for your senior year and not test the pro waters?
For the other 119 guys that's left on the team that looks at me as a leader, that comes to me with problems off the field, it'd be selfish of myself just to leave and not come back for those guys. So they're a big part of why I came back. The numbers, the records, I mean, all that stuff, that'll speak for itself, but the impact I'll be able to have on these guys will last a lifetime.
No worries about getting hurt, no worries about...
If it's God's plan, it's going to happen. If it's not, it won't. One thing I won't do is get my plan confused with what God's plan is. So if he has plans for me to play at the next level, then it'll happen. If he don't, then it won't. And we'll have a different route to go to. I graduated already, and I got a good degree, and I'll fall on that.
But a little tempted?
I mean, I tested the waters, don't get me wrong, but I talked with a bunch of the guys, and I had to come back.
From when we got here, Scarce has grown tremendously. He started out as a safety. He came down to the linebacker position and definitely stepped up. He's a leader that even I look up to. We do everything, competing in the weight room, on the field, even running. Like, it's crazy how much of a competitor he is. He'll even try to compete with you in breathing. That guy's hilarious. But yeah, he's a great dude. He's awesome.
And for you, just how good is it to be getting back? I know that you were hampered by that injury.
Yeah. For me, I was like, finally, man, I could finally get back on the field, join my brothers. And these guys they miss me a little bit. They tell me all the time. But yeah, those guys are awesome. I'm just proud to be back with them.
How tough is it to plan for an offense like Charleston Southern?
It's crazy. There's really, I don't know. There's no way to really prepare for them because they're just so aggressive. We just got to stick to our keys and do what we do. We got our basics down. We know how to track pullers and read full flow and everything else, how we got to do it. It's just like any other game. We prepare for it, and we just dominate in what we do.
Is going up against two elite running backs, does that get you going a little bit more?
Oh,
maybe?
definitely, definitely.
He does that in practice every day.
Can't argue with that. I mean, he's had my ankles a couple times. He's definitely taught me some things.